Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Tim.
Welcome to Vintage Food Farm. Today we are going to take you to one of the most spectacular creeks slash waterhole slash waterfall, and that is Davies Creek in Far North Queensland, Australia. So before we go, we're going to go to the garden. We're going to get a couple of things because when we get to Davies Creek, we're going to have some prawns for lunch, and we're going to show you how to make our go-to dipping sauce at Davies Creek. So we've got 2 chilies, that's for me. And now we're going to go and get some calamansi from the tree so that we can show you how to make our go-to easy, portable dipping sauce. That is our calamansi tree. A calamansi is like a cross between an orange and a lime. So it's a little bit sour, beautifully sweet, really popular in Southeast Asia. And we are so lucky to have a big calamansi tree because we use them all the time. So rather than buying our lunch or making a whole picnic type situation, whenever we go somewhere like this, we just grab a heap of frozen prawns. By the time you get to the destination, they are defrosted or nearly defrosted, and we can defrost them with some river water. And then we just simply eat prawns and this super duper dipping sauce. So they are the ingredients for our dipping sauce, and it's based on a Filipino dipping sauce, which you get all over the Philippines, and that is calamansi, soy sauce. Tim's not going to have chili, I am going to have chili.
Do you think we could have got a bigger basket for this?
So the chickens are all in the vegetable garden watching us and seeing what we're doing. Is it okay if we pick a calamansi? Are you good with that? Are we allowed? So we went down yesterday to Preston Seafood, which is the best seafood place in Cairns, guaranteed. It is so good. They have so much range. We just love it so much. They've got the best marinara mix. They've got big giant octopus, really good seafood. Anyway, we got a box of Endeavour prawns. And Endeavour prawns are pretty underrated. I think normally people think the bigger, sort of brighter tiger prawns are nicer, but we really love Endeavour prawns because they're so tasty and so sweet. So we've got a big box of prawns in there. We're going to get some out, we're going to put it in a bucket, and we're going to drive out to Davies Creek. So prawns aren't the cheapest thing to eat, but they're so easy and so yummy, and you really feel like you're indulging if you're sitting out in nature and eating prawns. Perfect.
Didn't you want me to bring some for you as well?
So from our experience and with our appetites, we know that 1 kilo of prawns is perfect for us both. And that's completely filling and very satisfying, and we don't need any bread or anything else with it, just the special dipping sauce. So some people think that frozen prawns aren't great. They are fantastic. They are snap frozen as soon as they are caught on the boats, and they are kept frozen until you defrost them. So they actually are really good. And the only time you can really get fresh prawns is at Christmas, and I don't even think they're that much better. But frozen prawns are great because you can take them straight from the freezer. You can go on your drive because they take ages to defrost, and then by the time you get there, they're either fully defrosted and still cold, or you can defrost them in some river water. If you're going for a lot longer distance, obviously then you need to have an esky or a fridge or something to store them in. But because we know we're only going 20 minutes down the road, we just take the frozen prawns, take our dipping sauce ingredients and head off to Davies Creek. So we're on our way. It's about how far do you think?
About 20 minutes.
20-minute drive. It's actually just behind Speewah, so it's very close to where we live, which is very convenient. So it's the same national park as Dinden Falls or Barron Falls, but there's lots and lots of beautiful little water holes, a lot of very slippery rocks, some water holes to swim in, the creek to swim in. So the thing that we're really excited to find this time, the special surprise, is some Aboriginal hand paintings. I believe they're in a cave. We tried to get there another time, but it was too wet. So we're going to go back now. So the best time to come to Davies Creek is definitely in the wet season because it's much wetter and the water holes and the creeks are really full, which is really nice. If you come in the dry season, there is a chance that the water will be too stagnant to swim in. So definitely a wet season or just after the wet season type activity. So that took us 10 minutes from the Speewah turnoff to get to the Davies Creek turnoff. And you can see there's a mountain bike park as well, and there's camping areas. So I think there's like 6 areas that you can camp along the Davies Creek. So like most places in the national parks, you need to get a camping permit to camp here. I have no idea where you get that from because we've never camped here because we live just down the road. But yeah, you need to get a permit. It's possible that there is damage to the roads after Cyclone Jasper because we had a lot of flooding and a lot of water, and they're still fixing the roads around Cairns and Mareeba, so I doubt that they've gotten to here to be able to fix it yet, but we will see how we go. So this is where it turns to dirt road. So you can definitely see there's damage there from Jasper. So that must have been totally flooded because all the trees along the side of that little creek are levelled. So that means that that creek rose significantly after Jasper, which we know it did. Even though it's a dirt road, it's in very good condition. It looks like it's been graded recently. So you certainly wouldn't need a 4-wheel drive to get in here. You could come in a normal car, I suspect. So this road is 5.2 kilometres down to the rock art. It's called Bunda Bibanji. It's called Bunda It's called Bunda Bijanji. It's called Bumba Bibanji.
Bunda.
It's called Bunda.
It's called Bunda Bidanji.
It's called It's called Bunda.
Just gonna pull out of the way. Okay.
And I've probably mispronounced that.
Yes. Bunda Bibanji.
And apparently there are like Aboriginal art on the walls of this cave or this rock, so we are going to go and find it. So 5.2 kilometre drive down a dirt road. We'll let you know how that goes. So obviously this track needs a 4-wheel drive. And a Jeep is a sort of a 4-wheel drive, but not really. This is really fun.
That was deep.
We've also told people where we're going because we have no phone reception. If something happened to the car, you want someone to know where you are. So this is as far as we got last time. So it looks like we're going to get further, which is good. If you like the Australian bush, you need to come here. It is absolutely stunning. And I think it's even more beautiful because it's the wet season, so it's all really green. So we're getting to 5 kilometres in, and it said it was 5.2 kilometres into the rock art. So we should be getting close. Oh wow, we are here. So just so you know too, you can't, because this is a national park and there's lots of wildlife, you can't bring your dogs either. We would have loved to have brought the dogs, but you can't. So we've parked the car at the base of the Bunda Babanji rock art site. The sign says that it's a 1.9 kilometre round trip walk, so we're going to do it because the fact that we've gotten this close this time is so cool. And we can hear running water down here, so we're just going to go and have a look and see what is down here. And this water is crystal clear. It's always really disappointing if you get to a creek or a water hole or a waterfall and it's got stagnant, dirty water in it. But this is just perfect, absolutely perfect. So that's where we are. So we walk up this track, which is a 1.9 kilometre return trip. And then there's Gallery 1 and Gallery 2. So this should be 850 metres there and then 850 metres back, so that's cool. And whatever you do, watch out for snakes. We've just driven 5 kilometres closer to our house back the other way, so I know there are snakes everywhere. So they're like a cycad, a native cycad, and these are grass trees. So I am going to guess that this cycad is very, very old. This place is so untouched, it's incredible. It's absolutely stunning. Cycads and grass trees everywhere. If you were fit, this would be beautiful, but I am not, I can hardly talk. So it's actually quite steep for me, maybe not for other people. So all of this is quartz, and where there's quartz, there's gold. I think this is where there was a mini gold rush. So this is amazing. I hope it shows up on camera, but you can see the two hands up in the air, and then there's the body.
It talks about the first Australians that were initially in this area and were removed in 1916, and then how these paintings were discovered by cattle drovers in 1940 and then officially documented from 1950 on. But it also shows you a diagram of what they used to look like before they faded.
So that's what we're looking at. I hope it shows up on camera. Amazing. So it looks like it's all painted in like ochre. Really incredible. The fact that they're still here and no one's wrecked it yet as well is pretty cool. So this is a whole lot of paintings that were just painted over the top of each other, and you can clearly see the mother and the baby in the red, but there's also the remnants of all yellow painting underneath that as well. So there are 2 lots of these stairs you've got to come up. If you like taking photos, you need to come here. This wall art has wallabies and people, and it's saying that they're slowly deteriorating, but as the water runs over the rock surface, it produces algae, and the algae takes away the surface of the rock, and that's why the paintings are becoming less and less visible. Yeah, so we're very lucky to be able to still come and see them up so close. And again, you can see the different layers of colour, the red and the yellow, and there's also white in this one. So you can easily see them, but they are definitely deteriorated. But wow, how amazing. It's incredible. More of these cycad seeds. People must have lived under these caves. They're so sheltered in what would be a very wet season. So halfway up this hill, I would have said it's not worth it. But now we're at the top and we've seen the 2 galleries, and it's only downhill from here. It is totally worth it. Just beautiful. So have you got phone reception?
I've got 1 bar.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah. And I can see we're actually closer here to Crystal Cascades, the swimming hole in Cairns, than we are to home. But if we do have to walk home, we just have to walk that way over that hill, which is actually more like a mountain.
And that's when people die, when they just have to walk over a hill. So if you never see this video, it's because we broke down and we just had to walk over the hill.
If you never see this video, please send help.
Well, that was pretty special. So now we're going to walk back down the hill, downhill, that's good. And we are going to jump in the car and drive back and go to the water holes and the creek. And I'm going to sit in the water and cool down. There's not one person here, and it's a Saturday. So that's pretty cool. So there are grass trees everywhere here. And it is always, and has for many, many, many decades, been illegal to dig them up or to take them or to steal them. But I know for a fact that when we used to live in Katherine in the 80s, that there's heaps and heaps of cattle stations all around from Katherine into WA, just everywhere, into Queensland. And the jackaroos and the people that worked on the stations used to dig them up illegally. They had a different name then, which is a racist name, which I won't say, but they used to dig up these grass trees and they would sell them to the nurseries. And I think they got something like $100 per plant back in the 1980s. So really sad, really illegal, but it happened.
The bigger ones were sold for up to $1,000 in the 80s.
So the other thing that is quite amazing about this bush is the fragrance. So I don't know what is flowering or what trees are giving off this scent. It's not like a pine fragrance or anything like that. It is the most beautiful fragrance though, and it is thick in the air. I don't even know what it is. It's so woody, almost cedary and beautiful. And the whole bush smells like that. So we've been here for an hour and a half, which is an easy walk up, stop for a while at each place, and then a casual stroll back. So that took an hour and a half. We have not seen one other person, which is nice. Also a little bit scary because I'm always aware that we could be murdered by some crazy bushy. But yeah, pretty amazing. You can go and look at Aboriginal rock art by yourself in the bush, an hour from Cairns and an hour and a half there and back. Pretty cool. So this is a massive old mango tree. And you can see all the old mangoes that have just fallen to the ground. There's some seeds. Have a look over here. These are all baby mango trees that are just growing in the bush where the mango seeds have dropped out of that tree. And then there's just all these baby mango trees growing all around it. Okay, let's go. And we are now back up at the main Davies Creek road. Definitely need a four-wheel drive, but you don't need a crazy, amazing four-wheel drive. So all along the road are different campsites and different access points to the water. So I'm just going to go and check out this spot, but there's lots and lots of options that are just off the road. So if you've got any food or camp chairs or anything like that, you can easily bring them in. And also you don't have to be with other people. There is enough spots here to be able to find your own little place. So also dotted along the sides of the rivers are some picnic tables. We always carry a tiny little table and two little tiny chairs with us, but this place has a table, so we'll sit at that. Look at this. This is so beautiful. And the funnest thing to do is to actually slide down the rocks. I don't know if I should say that or not, but we do it. So there are other people here. There were two cars further down, but this is lunchtime on a Saturday, and we are in absolute paradise rock pools with flowing fresh water, and there is no one near us. And if you want to camp, you can book this place and you can stay here. It's just phenomenal. What an amazing place, just an hour from Cairns. It's so beautiful. So there's another table on the side of the river up there, but there's no one on that one. I can hear some kids playing further down the creek, but there's just so many places that it doesn't matter because there's room for everybody to have their own private little swimming hole. It's amazing. So here comes lunch. Prawns. And what will be our dipping sauce. So our prawns are still rock solid frozen. So I'm going to show you a trick that you can do if you are at a river with very clean water or if you're near the ocean, and that is to put some water into your bucket of prawns to defrost them. And they will defrost really quickly. So if you just leave the prawns in the water for a few minutes, then they will defrost and they'll be beautiful and tasty, and you can sit here in paradise by the river eating your fresh prawns or your defrosted prawns. But we're going to make our signature Filipino soy and calamansi dipping sauce first, and mine's going to have some chili in it. So these prawns are defrosted, so we're going to drain the water off them. So we've got our 2 buckets, one for whole prawns and one's for shells. And fun fact, chickens love to eat prawn heads and prawn shells, and they've got heaps of protein and heaps of calcium in them. So we will take the shells home for the chickens and the guinea fowl. So next we're going to make our dipping sauce, a little bit of soy sauce. And some calamansi. Oh, the smell of them. The fragrance of these calamansi is so beautiful. It is totally a cross between an orange and a lime. So Tim wants 2 in his. There we go. And you're not having chili?
No.
So that's Tim's easy little dipping sauce. And if you couldn't get calamansi because you didn't grow them or you couldn't buy them, you could do this with some fresh orange juice and some fresh lime juice with the soy sauce. And trust me, it is so good.
Do you want 2 chilies?
No, just one.
Just one? Which one?
The big one. And then soy sauce. Don't worry about the seeds because it's a dipping sauce, so you won't get them. So thank you to all the Filipino people in the world who invented this sauce because it is so good. Okay, prawn time. This is a winner. So now you can go wash your hands in the river. What a lunch, that was so good. And the dipping sauce is so salty and so sour, and then a little bit of spice. Tim ended up eating the chili one anyway because it's so good. That didn't really happen.
Actually really nice once you get in.
Is it?
Yeah, really nice once you get in.
You can see there's there's all nice white sandy beaches along the side of the river as well, and also the rocks. So that's the first water hole, and it's about the third car park in along the road. When I say car park, just a little gravel inlet bit. But we're going to drive further up and we're going to see what other water holes we can find. So we're not going to get to show you every single water hole here because there are so many little places you can go, which makes it really exciting. And if there's people around, you can just keep going until you find somewhere where there's not. Some of them you can walk far off the road, others are just right on the side of the road, which this one is. So you can camp at that spot, but you can't light fires. So you'll need a camp stove or a barbecue or something, and you need to take away your rubbish. But what a place to stay. So these are the bathrooms that are on the side of the road. So you'll pass them as you go up. And then there are some more individual toilets up there as well. So now we are heading up the mountain, and I think there's 6 campsites along the way. And I suppose the benefit of having to pre-book it is you don't have to share it. So the terrifying thing about this road is as you go further and further up, where we are now, 2 cars could still fit just, but it gets narrower and narrower. So somebody has to back up if you come face to face with someone. Just like that. So as we get up higher and higher, we can still see the Davies River in the valley below. It's very beautiful. So there is a few people in this top car park up here, but they're all coming and going, and this is where one of the lookouts is, and we'll go for a walk down and you can see the actual falls from the top of the lookout. So once you get to the top of the car park, the falls is 200 metres in one direction, and then there's a beautiful little swimming hole. It's actually like one water hole, and then it's got a little trickling creek coming out of it, but absolutely beautiful. And you can slide down the rocks as well. It's got like a natural slide, and that's just one of the many places that you can stop and swim along the way. But where we're going now is 200 metres down this track. And I will say down here that a lot of people go outside the railed off area and people have died. It is very, very slippery. It is deceptively slippery. It doesn't look slippery, and then you put your feet there and you just slide out, and people have. So yeah, stay behind the railing, please. So the walk to the infinity pool, which is the pool that sits on top of the waterfall, is, I think it's the 850 metre walk that goes right around, and then you do have to do a bit of scrambling over some rocks to get there. We'll leave those people to have it today. Don't drink alcohol and come here, or you'll end up in the swim, off a cliff and in the swim. So we're going that way. We just came from that way, but if you turn that way, that will take you to that infinity pool. So if you like hiking or bushwalking, this is definitely the place for you. It is absolutely incredible. And there are challenging bits and then not so challenging bits. So next we're driving further up the hill. Is it up the hill or sort of across the top of the hill? And that takes us to another camping ground. And there's some more swimming areas up there, so we'll take you and show you. So there are some really great camping spots down here. So we just kept on going up past the Falls Lookout and driving along, and they call it Camp Node 1 and 2. And we won't go down there because there is actually people camping down there. So they're literally camping on the edge of the beautiful crystal clear water, and it looks beautiful. It's wide, it looks deep, it looks calm enough to swim with little falls as well. So camping node number 2 would be a very good choice, but we're going to have a look at some more. Okay, so we went a little bit further and we found camping node 1, and wow. So at the original campsites where we were down at the beginning of the creek, you weren't allowed to light a fire. But here, you absolutely can light a fire, and there's a toilet up there as well. And then 20 steps away, I am literally about to cry. This place is so beautiful. Wow. There goes Tim's hat. This is one of the nicest camping spots you will ever find. It is amazing. Wow. So this is camping sites, or camping nodes. I don't know why they're called nodes, it's weird. 3 and 4, but there's people camping here as well, so we won't disturb them if we might be too late. That's okay, we'll just keep going up to number 4. So number 3 is beautiful. So they've got another toilet there. And then we're heading into Camp Node 4 right now, which there doesn't seem to be anyone at. So Camp Node number 4 is a bit lacking water. It is lacking water. I can hear the creek, but there's not a path to it. So give Node 4 a miss, but Node 1, Node 2, Node 3, paradise. Let's go find some more nodes. Nodes. What is a node? So these are the last 2 nodes, 5 and 6. I can see that there are people camping down here, at least at one of them. But beautiful road on the way in. So node 5 is taken, so we can't show you that one, but it looks really nice. And this is node 6, and it's up a little bit from the creek, which is not such a dumb thing. Very, very nice. So the only node that was no good was 4.
Yeah.
So node 1 was good, 2 was good, 3 was good, 5 and 6, amazing. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Hey.
Yeah.
Look at these big white gums over it. Oh, I like this one the best.
Really nice.
It's beautiful. They're all so beautiful though. I can't say the best, hey. They're all beautiful.
The nicest looking one.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's also more of a sandy gravel than a coarse sand. So it's a coarse sand rather than rocks. So if you had kids, this would be your pick because it's not slippery at all. This is just so beautiful. So that is it. What an amazing place for a day trip, for camping, for hiking, for bushwalking. It is incredibly beautiful. you need to come here. If you feel like it, and only if you feel like it, like and subscribe. But most importantly, stay calm in the farm. This place is amazing. Okay, and let's see how we look with the aircons on and with driving. And so we are at the car park area at the Bunda Bibanji, at the Bunda Bibanji. Okay, let's go. A little bit of soy sauce.
A very little bit.
Okay, take the lid off the soy sauce first. No. It hadn't started.
Pity. I'll do it again. Not very deep.